Twins play outside their division for the first time this season. They open up a week-long road trip tonight with the start of 3 against the Texas Rangers in Arlington. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by State Farm. Phil Hughes was strong in his first 2 outings, but he struggled last Tuesday against the Indians, going just 3 1/3 innings. Lefty Martin Perez also had a short start in his last outing, 3 2/3 innings against the A's. And welcome to Arlington. I'm Marnie Gellner. The Twins had pretty good success last season against the Rangers, going 5-2 in their 7-game season series. In fact, there was a 4-game series here in Arlington right before the All-Star break when the Twins took 3 of 4. And now your series setup. In those 7 games last season, the Twins scored an average of 8.86 runs per game. One of the games they scored 17, another one 15. A lot of runs across the plate in those 7 games. Max Kepler swung the hottest individual bats. He knocked in 15 runs total against the Rangers last year, 8 in 1 game alone. Max is not in the starting lineup tonight, but we'd expect he would be in each of the next 2 games. Texas bats are struggling a little bit. The 4th lowest batting average in the big leagues, 211 as a team. But when the Rangers do get hits, they are often big ones. 21% of the hits that the Rangers have gotten this season are home runs. That is the highest percentage in the big leagues. Yesterday, the Twins sent reliever Buddy Boshears back to AAA, and today called up right-handed pitcher Nick Tepesch. Tepesch played a couple of seasons here with Texas, and he had been starting in Rochester. He's made 3 starts for AAA, and today Paul Molitor said that Tepesch would be used mostly in long relief for the time being here for the Twins. So Dick Bramer and Bert Belisle and the Twins certainly hope to get this series off to a good start and hope for the same kind of success they had against the Rangers last season.
Absolutely, Marty. Now, we've got a windy night here tonight, but we can say with absolute certainty that the third base lines won't be blowing away, because we got 2 of the biggest third basemen in Major League history. We've got Joey Gallo for the Rangers and Miguel Sano for the Twins, and they both can hit the ball very hard.
Yeah, you know what? In baseball now they have the exit velocity, how fast that ball leaves the ballpark. And these 2 guys, when they do hit home runs, they can hit it a long way. And really, you look at Joey Gallo, he's 6'5", about 330, same as Miguel Sano. So, yeah, 2 big guys playing first base or third base here tonight. For Joe Gallo, 3 days ago, the ball left the ballpark 116.1 miles per hour. I'm glad they didn't have this stuff when I pitched. I would have gone 130 maybe. 115.6, the longest home run hit so far in baseball. And the 3rd hardest hit in baseball, Joey Gallo again. And for the Twins, Miguel Sano. My goodness, you know, when that ball takes off, remember in early April, he darn near broke a chair up there in the 2nd day.
And to be clear, Ernest and Julio Gallo may have weighed 330 pounds. Joey Gallo only weighs 230.
230.
Okay.
Yep.
We got the opening game of this series with the Texas Rangers. We expect to see a lot of runs, hopefully some Twins wins along the way.
Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Toyota. Tested, trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. By CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us.
Last time the Twins were on the road, they came off a road trip and had a 6-3 mark, had a nice week-and-a-half long homestand that they had high hopes for, and things obviously didn't turn out very well. The Twins start this road trip 2 games below the 500 mark. Marty Gellner's here. Bert Blyleven's back. Good to have you back.
Thank you. Good
Serving
to be back.
your 3-game suspension. Is that what it was?
Yes, it was.
And we're happy to be bringing you all 3 games, night games, here in Arlington, Texas. And Paul Molitor hoping that a change of location will change the fortunes for his ball club. The Menards batting order: Brian Dozier leading off, Joe Mauer batting second, Miguel Sano hitting third, then Robbie Grossman, Jorge Polanco, Kenny Vargas, Chris Jimenez, Eddie Rosario, and Byron Buxton.
And starting game 1 for the Texas Rangers, it'll be left-handed pitcher Martin Perez, making his 5th start of the year. Only 1 quality start in the 4 prior starts, looking for his 2nd win. This will be only his 3rd career start against the Twins, and this is his 86th Major League start.
Northland Ford defense for the Rangers, and it's not what it will be when the Twins see the Rangers again in August. At least they hope not. Jurickson Profar's in left field right now. Carlos Gomez in center. Nomar Mark Mazzara is in right. Joey Gallo's at third base because Adrian Beltre's out with an injury. Andrus and Odor up the middle. Napoli at first, and Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate. Brian Dozier in the box, and Twins are ready to get going here, hoping to forget a forgettable homestand. Dozier, Mauer, and Sano facing Perez. And the first pitch on the outside corner.
Well, already this season, Dick, I think what we have seen, the roller coaster ride starts. You know, Twins started off well. Now they've struggled as of late. Now you want to get back on and start going uphill rather than downhill.
Splintered bat and a little flare with Dozier dumping one into right field. The Rangers were playing Dozier in a pull shift in the infield, and he got a leadoff single to right.
Well, take a look at this bat that shatters in the hands of Brian Dozier. Pitch away right off the end of the bat, and half the bat goes toward third base. The ball, fortunately, dumps into right for a base hit.
We'll bring up Mauer. And you're right about the season being along when the Rangers were really struggling. And they had the Kansas City Royals come here, and then the Rangers swept the Royals in a 4-game series, and now they're just 1 game below 500. And Mauer takes a strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, Perez will feature a fastball in the mid-90s. Very good curveball. He'll mix in a slider and a changeup. He's in his 5th season with the Texas Rangers.
This one dumped to left, and that'll carry to Profar, who makes the catch 1 away. And that'll bring up Miguel Sano. Alfonso Marquez calling balls and strikes. Chad Fairchild is at first. David Rackley's at second. Chris Siegel's at third. Here's Miguel Sano, and if you were with us in the pregame show, you saw and heard that Sano has been handed a 1-game suspension for the situation that arose Saturday at Target Field. The Twins, the Sano and the Players Association are all going to appeal the 1-game suspension, hoping to get it reduced to a fine. And a swing and a miss, 1 strike.
Well, you don't like to see that happen, but what I saw on tape, and I didn't see it live, that Sano was just basically defending himself after McCann, it looked like, pushed him or put
his catcher's mitt in his face. Yeah.
So, you know, there weren't any punches thrown other than the push by Sano. Both benches cleared, but yeah, it's going to happen.
1-1 to Sano. And a check swing, 2-0, 2-1.
Changeup right there, just misses outside by Perez. Perez coming into the ball game in the first 4 starts, 20 innings, so averaging 5 starts an inning, 12 walks, 1 intentional, 16 strikeouts.
Swing on is 2-2, and of course this Twins team has
walked its way into some big run games. They haven't so much hit their way into some big innings and big games in terms of run production, but they have drawn a lot of walks. So this might be an interesting matchup. And nobody's walked more than Miguel Sano. 2-2. Taken low, 3-2.
Oh, good take right there on that pitch down in the strike zone.
17 walks for Miguel Sano. And the team has more walks than anybody else in Major League Baseball. A couple of National Leaguers also with 17 walks. Double play grounder. Right to Andres. And 6-4-3. Dozier starts the inning with a single, but Perez faces just 3 men. Is presented by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. We usually come here in July or August and it's like 115 degrees.
Steaming.
It's just gorgeous. Low humidity here. Very pleasant weather. Jeff Bannister can't do any better than what he's done in his 2 years. He's gotten the Rangers a couple of division titles. They've been stifled by the Blue Jays come playoff time. Here's the Menard batting order for the Rangers. Carlos Gomez leading off. Shin Soo-Choo batting second. Nomar Mazara, Mike Napoli, Rougned Odor, Elvis Andrus, Joey Gallo, Jonathan Lucroy, and Jurickson Profar.
And Phil Hughes for the Twins on the mound, making his 4th start. 1 of 3 have been quality starts. And Phil, is, as we showed you before, he has had a lot of success against the Texas Ranger organization, especially here in Arlington.
The Rangers, as we've said, are struggling to get hits, but not struggling to score runs because they hit so many home runs. And Gomez has 3 of them. This one's skied to center. And Buxton's under it. 1 down. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Left-hander on the mound for the Rangers. So at the start of the game, that's put Max Kepler on the bench and put Robbie Grossman in right field. Kenny Vargas, the designated hitter. Sano, Polanco, Dozier, Mauer, the infielders, and Chris Jimenez spent a couple of stints with the Rangers, getting a chance to start against them behind the plate here tonight. There's Jimenez. 1 down. Here is Shin Soo-Choo, just 3 for 18 against Hughes, and there's ball 1.
Yeah, it seemed like Phil's last start we saw a lot of cut fastballs, and I think the first 2 starts we saw more of the slow curveball, where I think he pitched a little bit better. So we'll see how he fares here tonight. Phil is a fly ball pitcher. He doesn't get a lot of ground ball outs.
Do you think that might change? And we talked about that in his last start. I mean, with the mixing in more off-speed pitches, we might get more ground balls from Phil.
Yeah, I think, you know, changing speeds is a big thing that Phil went to spring training for and to really work on. But I think since the surgery from last July, you know, it's going to take a while for that fastball, hopefully at 93, 94, to come back. He may top out at 90, 91 here.
A couple pitches ago it was 91, but now he's missed twice in a row to make the count 3-1.
You know, he's pitched enough innings to know that he has to make an adjustment right now. We see what he used last year, basically all the fastballs, not as many fastballs this year, more changeups and curveballs.
Walk inside, just missing. Runner aboard with one down, and let's find Marty Gelder.
Guys, in our car scoop from the clubhouse tonight, Nick Tepesch is the right-handed pitcher that the Twins have called up from AAA. He was a starter in Rochester, but for now, Paul Molitor said he'll be used in long relief for the Twins. Robbie Grossman is hitting cleanup, in part because of the way he's been swinging the bat so well this season, but also to help protect Miguel Sano, who's sitting in that 3 spot. And speaking of Sano, he has been suspended for 1 game for his actions in Saturday's game when the bench is cleared, but he can remain in the lineup while the Twins appeal. And Paul Molitor said that the Twins have a legitimate case to get MLB to reduce the suspension to a fine. And I also asked GM Thad Levine about it, and he said we're just kind of waiting on the timeline now to find out when the hearing will take place, and then the Twins will present their evidence, and they'll all move on from there, guys.
All right, thank you, Marty. Twins have an off day on Thursday. I don't know how quickly the appeal can be heard, placed, considered, and ruled on. And now 2-0 to Nomar Mazara. He was kind of with an extended look in toward Alfonso Marquez. We don't have the best vantage point here, but the way both Jimenez and Hughes are reacting, some of these pitches have been awfully close.
Well, you hope that Jimenez is having conversation with Marquez behind the plate that, hey, we need that pitch right there.
And now missing down and in, 3-0.
Well, control has really never been an issue for Phil Hughes. For him to be falling behind early, walk Chu now behind on this hitter.
Chu annually is among the league leaders in walks. Mazara's been swinging a really good bat, one of the few Rangers who's done that so far this year. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. And now 3-2. Hughes started his year with a good start, a quality start. 1 run allowed in 6 innings, then 4 runs allowed in 5 2/3 innings. But the Tigers scored on him late in that outing, and then, as Bert mentioned, the start against the Indians didn't go well at all.
See if Chu takes off here. I bet he will.
There he goes, and it's strike 3, and Jimenez's throw right on the bag. Now Mazara has a beef with Alfonso Marquez. Jeff Banisher says get off the field. It's a strike him out, throw him out double play to end the first. His routine is as the principal designated hitter. He says he's still trying to find one. He doesn't feel comfortable yet as a DH. He's playing right field tonight, but he sure looks comfortable at the plate.
Yeah, he really does. You know, hitting well from both sides of the plate, and you can see how he has fared over the last 12 ball games, finding a way to get on base, be it base hit or just a walk.
And Grossman will lead off the second inning, followed by Polanco and Vargas. Ball one. Grossman leading the American League in on base percentage. And he's done very well from both sides of the plate. There's a ball line to Andrus. A rocket off the bat of Grossman for out number one. One down, and that'll bring up Polanco. And Polanco's hit all over the place. He's hit cleanup too already this year. I think ideally Twins would like somebody to emerge. Maybe it's Vargas now that he's here. If he starts swinging it, you got a power threat hitting behind Sano. Polanco takes ball one.
You know, in the game of baseball now, so many shifts. I like seeing what clubs do against the Twins that other clubs have done, and right now they're just playing straight up Polanco.
In foul ground, now back, now still in foul ground. Napoli makes a catch with out number two. Let's go to Marnie Gellner.
That'll bring Kennys Vargas to the plate, who was just called up by the Twins. He got a couple of at-bats yesterday in the game and said he got back into big league rhythm, but he said everything is so much faster up here, and I know that, but it still takes a minute or two to kind of get that feeling again and adjust. And he said that he had to control his nerves and excitement a little bit yesterday, and I asked if that was kind of out of his system, and he said not really, because everywhere you go in every stadium, they still kind of get that nervous energy and excitement. And Vargas said, I have to remind myself pretty much every at-bat to control my nerves and excitement, but he's getting there, Dick and Bert.
And the Twins would love for him to settle into a primary DH role along with Grossman, I guess, provide a little pop. Takes inside.
Yeah, he's got tremendous power from both sides of the plate, and that's why the Twins, I think when they had the opportunity, they wanted an extra guy off that bench. This guy would be the guy that could fit that DH role.
Checked his swing, now 3-1. Jimenez on deck.
Also play some first base. Give Joe Mauer a day off the field.
And Vargas is a first baseman. Miguel Sano, when he played over there, was a third baseman playing in the other corner. This one lifted foul and out of play. Hey, quickly, if you can. Marnie touched on a phrase, and I get easily confused. We know that. The game up here is sped up. It's quicker up here, and yet managers and coaches say the key for a player is to slow things down. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's hard to do. You need at-bats. You need the experience to until your heart stops pumping, which is a good thing. When Marnie said that, that Jason Vargas is still gets
Kenny
pumped
Vargas.
up, or Kenny Vargas, excuse me. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that you're excited about playing the game of baseball.
3-2. And Vargas strikes out. And the Twins send just 3 men to the plate in the second. North is presented by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. And by State Farm. Combine auto and renters and see how much money you can save.
He'll score, bottom of the second. Phil Hughes walked a guy, but got to strike him out, throw him out, double play. And now here's Mike Napoli taking ball one. Napoli in his first year back with the Rangers after playing an instrumental role in Cleveland's success last year. And the Twins were very interested in Napoli's services in the offseason, too. He decided to come back to the familiar surroundings here in Arlington.
There's a lot of guy. He's a man with a lot of power. 241 career home runs.
Long drive to right, foul. Hit a home run to right field the other night, Saturday night. And he said that's a good sign that he's getting things turned around. You can see the Twins aren't exactly lighting the world on fire with their hitting at .231, 8 points below the league average. But then here are the Rangers, 20 points below the Twins. And they're not drawing the walks that the Twins are. Outside. But they are hitting a lot of home runs.
28 home runs. And the Twins have hit 15.
Drilled to left. This ball is absolutely scorched, and Buxton can't flag it down. Napoli to second, and he'll have a double. If Byron Buxton had caught that ball, they would have just stopped the game and given him the Gold Glove Award right there. That was a great effort, but that ball was absolutely blistered to the gap.
I'll tell you what, Byron Buxton came out of nowhere, too. I thought it was in the gap the whole way. I didn't even think that he would try to attempt to dive for it, but he did. And came pretty close to making a fantastic catch. Just a bit short, and Eddie Rosario, the left fielder, his responsibility to back it up and get it back in, but it's a double for Napoli, his third double of the year.
And another Texas fixture in their lineup hitting below 200, Rougned Odor hitting 187. Runner at second, nobody out. That's hit to center, and that'll score the first run of the game. Odor digging for second. Here's the throw from Rosario offline. And on back-to-back pitches, the Rangers have back-to-back doubles.
Yeah, Odor has been struggling at the plate, but Phil left the pitch up, and Odor swung at that and hits his double, his third double of the year, as Napoli hit his third. So driving in his 9th run. Take a look at the location of that pitch, thigh high away, and Odor just takes it the other way for the double.
So a different runner at second with nobody out, and Elvis Andrus, the batter. Give you some idea how unsettled the Ranger lineup is. Yesterday, Andrus hit cleanup because of his batting average, not because of his power, even though he does have 3 home runs. And he lifts it foul out of play.
I just think Jeff Bannister even said he's trying to put that right lineup together, as Paul Molitor really has since spring training. Get the right formula. They miss Adrian Beltre. You know, he's still out with that calf injury, and they don't expect him to be back for another 2 weeks, if not more.
Squaring the bunt. And pitch called a ball, and Jimenez nearly fired to Polanco to try to get Odor.
Well, not a bad try right there by Andrus, just trying to advance Odor over to third. Andrus has struggled actually against Phil Hughes, just 4 hits and 23 at bats, hitting 174. But he knows what his role is here.
And the runner will try to advance and do so. Ball hit slowly. I don't know if Hughes deflected it or not. Polanco got the sure out at first. A little bit of a risk by Odor, but he's able to gain third base.
Yeah, that's definitely a big risk right there. I know they say if the ball's hit behind you, you could take off, but Odor right there, you see him, he thought about going back, And I think if Polanco throws it over to Sano, they might have a play at him at third base, but instead they get the out at first.
Well, here's Joey Gallo. The Twins infield will pull into a shift and play back. The hope here for the Twins is that Hughes will strike out a batter who's very strikeout prone. First pitch looped foul, a strike.
Well, tremendous power, but with that power, you can see how he's done over his last 5 ball games. Do come strikeouts for Gallo. Gallo this far, folks, he has struck out 26 times, more than any Ranger in 61 at bats.
Up and in. In just under 200 at bats, Gallo has struck out 112 times in the big leagues. And that's exactly what Hughes would like to have happen here. Moving him inside off the plate. It's 2-1.
Yeah, last 2 pitches, fastballs in. Gallo just 23 years old. And they list him at 6'5", 230, not 320. I apologize to Joey Gallo.
No, that's, 2-1. Popped up. Sano back. A little stop and go move. And that ball is caught by Sano. A great play and a quick response to throw home. That had Texas League double written all over it, but Sano, with the wind swirling here in this ballpark, made a sensational play.
Yeah, very athletic play right there for Miguel Sano. He ended up in foul territory, but with the wind here in Arlington, sometimes it blows in from right field, but it'll spin back around. And Sano, backpedaling, stays with it, and then gets up quickly and makes a throw, a strike to Jimenez at home plate.
Runner Odor was standing at third, and I think the assumption was if Sano was going to make that catch, he was going to tag and score, and not if Rosario made the catch. But Sano popped up so quickly, and Odor was still stuck at third, 2 away, and here's Jonathan Lucroy. And there is strike 1.
Of course, we all know Lucroy with the Milwaukee Brewers got traded over last year to the Texas Rangers on August 1st. 2-time All-Star with the Brewers. Off to a slow start himself, hitting just 184.
Close pitch, and it's 1-1. Hughes has given up a couple of doubles so far, just 1 run this inning. Chopper to short, tough hop for Polanco. Boy. What a play!
Wow.
Left side of the Twins infield with 2 superb plays to keep this a 1-0 ball game. Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Nice play by Jorge Polanco to end the bottom of the second inning. And now Chris Jimenez takes strike one from Martin Perez. Twins with a hit. Dozier's leadoff single, but Perez has faced the minimum number of batters. He did to the Twins in the first inning tonight what he did 36 times last year to lead the major leagues. Get a ground ball double play. Tap foul by Jimenez. You know, he's used to having guys on base and getting 2 outs with 1 pitch. It'll be Jimenez, Rosario, and Buxton here in the Twins' third. Jimenez takes a ball, 2-2.
Yeah, Perez last year made 33 starts, won 10 ball games for the Rangers, pitched just under 200 innings, and really his first full season with the Rangers. Had some elbow issues, had surgery.
I meant to check, but I didn't. Jimenez, I'm guessing, caught Perez some. He kind of ping-ponged back and forth between Texas and Cleveland the last couple of years. 4 stints with Cleveland, 2 with the Rangers. I thought it was nice what Terry Francona said. All the focus when we were at Target Field, the Indians were in town. Derek Falvey and what he meant to the Indians and his new position with the Twins and all that. I asked Terry about Chris Jimenez. He says, you know, there are a lot of backup catchers out there. There's a reason we kept bringing this guy back. High fly to center, and drifting back is Carlos Gomez.
Well, he can not only catch, he can pitch too, like yesterday.
And play first base, play third base. 1 down in the third. That'll bring up Eddie Rosario.
Well, he's a good clubhouse presence too, and I think that's what they were talking about mainly. He's a good teammate.
Rosario, the batter, and the Twins are hoping that his bat will continue to pick up the pace a little bit. There's a base hit to center field. Jumping on the first pitch, Rosario's aboard for Byron Buxton.
Yeah, now with a 7-game hitting streak, Eddie Rosario, 9 hits in his last 23 at-bats.
Marnie Gellner, what have you got?
Well, we got the big story in baseball, which is the Washington Nationals on a roll and swept the Mets over the weekend and have now won 7 straight games. Bryce Harper's hitting .400 with 7 homers and 20 RBI already this season. Yesterday, the Phillies hit back-to-back home runs in the 8th inning to beat the Braves. It's the first time Philly has hit 3 straight homers since 2008. And in Colorado, the Rockies beat the Giants and swept the Giants for the first 3-game sweep of San Francisco at Coors Field since 2002. And the Rockies now, Dick and Bert, are 13-6. It's their second best start in franchise history.
Yeah, thank you, Marty. And you turn that around. The Giants, you know, and the Dodgers, they're the 2 favorites in that division. Giants are 6-13, opposite of what the Rockies have started off with.
Buxton takes outside, 1-1. You were with us during our telecast yesterday. You know that Buxton spent some time yesterday morning at Target Field with some tee work, putting the tee on home plate and trying to hit balls to right center field, tracking the ball just a little bit longer, and now he's got a 2-1 count. His point of contact was out in front of the plate, so even when he would hit the ball, it would be pulled foul. And what they want him to do, and it, of course, sounds easier than it is to implement, but just to track the ball a little bit longer and make the contact point closer to the front edge of the plate.
Well, you always talk to hitters, you know, about what they're trying to do, if they're pull happy or maybe a little bit tardy. They try to concentrate on hitting the ball right back up the middle. Use the gaps, left center, right center, and that's your focus. But sometimes when you're quick up there, you end up what Buxton's done. He's got that barrel of the bat out too early. Now the count in his favor.
Perez hasn't walked anybody. He's got some speed on the bases already with Rosario. Doesn't want to put Buxton there too.
You see, this should be a hittable pitch.
Hit to the right field corner and slicing foul. Plenty of distance.
What we have seen, I think the scatter report is if you get ahead, you bust Buxton inside.
Well, it's a 3-2 count.
Croy down the middle of the plate.
This one hit to left, and that'll carry Profar back. He makes the catch. Buxton retired. 2 away. Bobblehead by day, Guardian by night. Marvel Rocket Raccoon Twins bobblehead giveaway is Saturday, May 6th. First 10,000 fans get a bobblehead courtesy of Marvel as the Twins take on the Red Sox. For more information, visit twinsbaseball.com or the ballpark app using your mobile device. 2 down. Here's Dozier. You a comic book guy growing up?
No, not really. How about yourself?
I think the only comic books I read were my sister's hand-me-downs, and they were hardly, you know, of interest to me.
Now, my dad would open up the paper. First thing he'd go to is a comic section.
Right.
So that way, yes. But as far as purchasing a comic book and reading the whole thing, no.
Second baseman Odor standing right there. Close play with Rosario barely forced at second. Twins get another hit, leave a man aboard. You're watching Twins baseball, presented by State Farm.
Arlington, the Rangers' Joey Gallo hit a bomb of a home run out to right field that StatCast measured at 462 feet and estimated that it came off the bat at 116 miles per hour. That makes it the farthest home run hit and the fastest home run hit so far this season. And Rodney over here is working at Rick's Popcorn Wagon and told me that the ball bounced right in front of the popcorn wagon and then over the top. And Rodney said he ran around to try to get that baseball hit by Gallo, and then he was joined by about 300 fans who were in this area. And Rodney did not end up with the baseball, but some lucky fan did. But he confirmed that that was a massive home run to be able to come this far here in Arlington, guys.
Well, Marnie, thank you very much. Kind of reminds me of the home run that Young Hole Park hit to center field at Target Field last year into the catch area and straightaway center field. I walked out there the next day. Just unbelievable that a human being can hit a baseball that far. Here's Jurickson Profar. You spent a good part of the month of March with this guy, didn't you?
Yes, I did. In the WBC, he was our center fielder, switch hitting utility type player for the Rangers.
They appealed Jimenez. Force a habit appealed down the first base line, but it was the third base umpire Chris Siegel who said no swing.
Profar is a great addition to our ball club. We had so many great infielders that Hensley Mullins, or Bam Bam, the manager for the Dutch team, put him out in center field, but he had played center field when he first joined the Rangers in the minor league system.
1-2, and Profar grounds it foul. Middle infielder and all sorts of shoulder problems, and maybe his role will be that of a utility player. The Rangers still like his bat.
They like his bat, they just don't know where to play him, and he's almost like Danny Santana. You know, where do you play him? And offensively, he just hasn't hit as well as they expected him to when he came up a couple, 2-3 years ago.
Popped up, short center field. Polanco out, Dozier out, and Dozier squeezes it, one away. One down, bottom of the third, in our Sanford Health injury report. A.J. Griffin has a case of gout in his left ankle. Sam Dyson's supposed to get a rehab inning today. He's got a bruised pitching hand. He was disposed. What's the word I'm looking for? He was taken out of the role of closer for the Rangers. Deposed, maybe. Tyson Ross, recovering from the same thing Phil Hughes is trying to come back from. Here's Carlos Gomez with one gone. Ripped down the line, and it'll be another extra base hit. A double for Gomez. Third double of the ball game for the Rangers.
That pitch left up right there, and we all know Gomez, who played a couple of years with the Twins back in 2008 and 2009, very aggressive at the plate. The breaking ball, and Gomez waited back nicely and hit it sharply down that left field corner. By the time Rosario could get it in, hit that padded wall and slowed down, and Gomez with a double, his 5th double of the year.
Shin-Soo Choo will bat. He walked his first time up. Was thrown out trying to steal. Mazara took a called third strike. Choo was out without going down into a slide. There's a tapper. Gomez will advance. Polanco flips. And Gomez is at third now with 2 down. And it'll bring up Mazara. Just one other footnote regarding the throw out by Jimenez, and it was kind of a weird one because it almost looked like it was ball 4 and Choo was thrown out handily. But Twins catchers Jimenez and Castro have now thrown out 6 of the 13 stolen base attempts. There were only 20 throwouts all last year by Twins catchers, and that was number 6 in the opening weeks of this season. Here's Mazara, was called out on strikes on the front end of the strike him out, throw him out double play. Foul back. Mazara's bat pretty much carried this Ranger team for a while. He got off to a great start, has cooled off now a little bit. Jimenez to the mound.
Yeah, I got to talk to Phil Hughes a little bit about maybe the pitch right there that Mazara jumped on and fouled it off. Mazara only 21 years old. He'll be 22 here a couple days on Wednesday. Had a good solid first year for the Rangers last year. Very much of an open stance.
Fly ball center field. Buxton comes in a few steps to end it. Rangers get another double, but it's a scoreless frame spun by Phil Hughes, and still 1-0 is the score.
Emotional. You know, it's a ton of like extremely close friends. I feel like this was my family for 11 years, and it was really the most formative years of my career. I started a family here, built a team that ultimately went to 2 World Series, got a chance to play in a lot of playoff games, but really cut my teeth as in my career. And I feel as if there are more people here who I owe things to, as to who I am, not only as a front office person, but as a man.
Thad Levine returning to Arlington, Texas as the general manager of the Minnesota Twins. Joe Mauer leads off the 4th. We'll have a chance to get Thad to the booth here Wednesday night during our telecast.
Well, you know, look at Thad, and then you think of Derek Farvey, that, you know, 2 guys that came out of organizations that have really built a franchise to move in a positive direction, and you put those 2 heads together, and hopefully in the future, you know, we're going to be where the Texas Rangers have been the last 2 years, getting into postseason, as well as the Cleveland Indians getting to the World Series.
Mauer the batter, 2 strikes. Joe with a fly ball to left his first time up. Ground ball to the backhand side, juggled into the bare hand, and now the ball scoots past Napoli. Mauer will reach. Odor had it come out of his glove right to his bare hand, but the throw not in time. Mauer will reach.
Yeah, should be an error right there on Odor. If it is, it would be his 3rd and the 12th for the Texas Rangers. Kind of let that ball play him. He kind of backpedaled a little bit and hit off the wrist area. We'll see him backpedal a little bit. Hit off the end of his glove, or tip of his glove.
Here is Sano, work the count full, wrapped into a double play ball.
Going to give Mauer a base hit.
No, really?
Yep. Joe will take it.
Sano takes inside. We mentioned after Sano's ground ball double play that that's what Martin Perez does. He gets ground balls, got more than one, an average of more than one per start last year. And Sano takes low, 2-0. To center and short. Gomez coming in, and he makes the catch. He tried to decoy Mauer a little bit, like he might have lost the ball. 1 down. Twins fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports North and Twins baseball with you wherever you go. 1 down.
You know, you look at Perez, you look at a guy that is making his 86th major league start. He's had a lot of success here in Arlington, more here than he has on the road. 18-13 here. ERA at 3.6 compared to the road. He's 11-19 with an ERA of about 5.
Grossman checks his swing and takes a strike.
You know, Kepler, we highlighted how many RBIs he had last year against the Rangers in the 7 games. What, 15 of them? And then you know, Jason Castro not in the lineup, mainly because Perez is very tough on left-handed hitters.
Down and in.
Left-handers hitting 235 off of him in his career. Right-handers 287.
Marnie touched on the last series the Twins played here right before the All-Star break. Twins won 3 out of 4. Outscored the Rangers 38-18 in that 4-game series. And taken low, it's 2-1. That was an interesting period of time for the Twins. The season was lost because of the 9-game losing streak to start the season, but the Twins had a winning record in July, and they did it by winning in impressive places. They took 3 out of 4 here. And Grossman's going to have to hustle to stay out of the double play. Got him. Second double play turn by the Rangers. See if the Twins challenge it. Paul Molitor's already out of the dugout. On the first glance, I think they did get the double play, but we will see. See if the Twins decide to challenge it here in the top of the 4th.
Well, you saw Joe Vavra on the phone right there.
Yep, he's out.
Yep.
So it is a double play. Second inning ending ground ball double play that Perez has picked up, and it's still 1-0. To Toyota.
After Mike Napoli led off the bottom of the 2nd with a double, Odor had knocked him in with his own double, 1-0, and so far so good for Perez. And both starters doing a good job, not throwing a lot of pitches. Perez 46 pitches in the first 4 innings, and for Phil Hughes only 36 in the first 3, so both of them allowing their defense to help them out.
And effective innings for Hughes on a night when the Twins would love their starter to pitch deep into the ball game because of what happened the last 2 games. Adalberto Mejia gave the Twins 2 2/3 innings in Saturday's game, and Kyle Gibson gave the Twins 2 2/3 innings yesterday. 1-1 to Napoli. Breaking ball fouled back. 1-2. Napoli, Odor, and Andrus here in the 4th inning. Twins entered the ball game with a team ERA of 3.60. Now it has ballooned up the last few days with the pounding that the Twins pitching took last 2 days against the Tigers. But the 3.60 team ERA is 7th in the 15-team American League. And Hughes, as we said, had one really good start, his first one of the year.
We have to look at those 2 guys right there. Santana will be pitching tomorrow night, and then Hector Santiago here on Wednesday night.
And inside he hits Napoli, and the leadoff man's aboard.
Well, you know what, Phil Hughes, if you look at him in his first years in the big leagues with the Yankees and of course the Twins, you know, he's basically a fastball pitcher. Almost 63%. This is career through 2016, but this year, I think because of the surgery, because he's not throwing 93, 94, he knows he's got to really mix in his secondary pitches, which he has this year so far in the first 4 starts.
Leadoff man is on. He's not a threat to steal. Here's Rougned Odor, who doubled in a run his first time up.
Odor jumped on that first pitch, and that first pitch is down and in. Nice catch by Jimenez.
Just some perspective that can be lost when your team has a terrible homestand like the Twins had, but the team ERA 3.60. That's a run and a half less than what it was last year over a full season, roughly. 1-0. And another pitch down and in, 2-0.
Odor out of Venezuela, just 23 years old, in his 4th season already with the Rangers.
On the outside corner. The hit batter, Napoli, getting hit by Hughes. The 13th hit batter for Twins pitchers this year. Twins batters have only been hit 3 times.
Good fastball down and away. That's what you want to control. Look at that perfect pitch at 89 miles an hour. Hardest pitch to hit in baseball.
2-1.
That's the control that Phil has.
Popped up, short left. Rosario drifting towards the line. And he makes the catch, 1 away. Before Andres hits, you can follow Twins Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
Well, you know, you're talking about the hit batsman, Dick. You know, that ball that hit Napoli, that looked like a changeup that just left inside. I think what we've seen, mostly the pitchers trying to pitch inside, but some of them have been breaking balls in the dirt that have hit the foot or the shoe of certain hitters.
The ball drilled to right, and Grossman will cut it off, spins and fires. And a nice play by Grossman, holding Andres to a single and keeping a potential double play in order. That ball rifled toward the gap. Napoli to third.
I think as opposing hitter, when you face a guy like Phil Hughes, you know you have to be ready to hit. Already in this ball game, we have seen the Rangers jumping on that first pitch, a perfect pitch down and away, and Andres just taking it the other way. Good piece of hitting right there. 4th hit for the Rangers puts runners at first and third.
And Gallo up in another situation where Hughes could use a strikeout. As a big leaguer, Joey Gallo now has 195 at bats and 102 strikeouts. Gallo popped up to short left field, and Miguel Sano made a great play on a pop-up, tracking the ball in the wind, and then Polanco made a nice play to get the Twins off the field with only 1 run allowed. There's a pop-up that'll spin over the Twins dugout, now to play.
Well, they're definitely trying to pitch him inside to try to tie him up a little bit. Of the home runs he's hit, a total of 13 so far, you can see middle away, and then down over the middle part of the strike zone. Great home run numbers in the minor leagues for the Rangers, 152 in 5 seasons. So tremendous power.
And fouled back. In his first full professional year, he spent most of the year at Hickory, wherever that is. Sounds like it's in one of the Carolinas. Hickory, he had 392 at bats and hit 38 home runs. Oh, 0-2. Hughes hoping to pick up a strikeout. It would be his 2nd of the ball game.
Well, ahead in the count. Jimenez wants time right there.
And Hickory's in North Carolina.
See if they try to go back hard in. A lot of these Rangers have that open stance, but then as the ball is delivered toward home plate, they'll pick up that right foot as Gallo and point it toward the pitcher.
Base hit right field.
Not a good 0-2 pitch.
Napoli will score, and it's 2-0.
Looked like a changeup right there. So Gallo picking up his 15th run batted in on the season. as Napoli scores for the second time. That was a breaking ball. Gallo reaching out and pulling that ball between first and second into right field.
So in building up this series, we talked about the Rangers are not hitting much, but when they do score runs, they hit home runs. They've had 6 hits tonight. Not one of them's a home run.
Well, let's hope there aren't any.
6 hits so far have accounted for 2 runs, and there are 2 men out there with 1 out. Lucroy bounced to short his first time up. Actually hit the ball pretty hard. Polanco had a make or break stab at the ball, and he made the catch and threw him out.
And then he showed off that arm that's getting stronger and stronger from out on the outfield grass.
Double steal, and the throw goes to second. And the Rangers do some running with Andrus the lead man and a double steal.
Yeah, sometimes you have to pick up that runner a couple times at second base, even though the play is on in case they take off. Jimenez throws to second. So a double steal by Andrus and Gallo. Andrus picks up his 5th stolen base, and Gallo picks up his 3rd. And they stole that off of Hughes with that high leg kick.
Infield in now with 2 men in scoring position, and the outfield really shortening up. Some thought that the Twins might challenge that, wondering whether Dozier might have tagged an ankle, but my goodness, here's Lucroy. He's a power hitter, and look how shallow the outfield is playing. Trying to deny a base hit in front of the outfield. Well, so far all of this has worked out well. The defensive positioning has been very helpful for the Twins. This one popped up. Mauer over and reaches in and can't make the play. Might have been able to make the catch if there were no fans there, but that's the fans' territory.
I don't know if Joe got glove on that or if a fan interfered right there, but Joe reaching over as far as he could. And you can see that ball coming back a little bit. Joe reaching out.
No, I don't think he
just out of reach. Yep. I saw it pop up. That's why I thought maybe, you know, you can see the fans. Somebody's hand in and out. A good effort by Mauer.
One strike to Lucroy. Smothered by Jimenez.
They scored a lot of runs. They've driven in a lot of runs so far.
That's a lot of runs for a team with a 211 team batting.
Well, again, what, over 20% of their runs come on via the home run.
20% of the hits. 1-2. Got him looking. And Lucroy can't believe it. It's out number 2. And that'll bring up Profile.
That's a big strikeout right there for Phil Hughes and the Twins. Watch Jimenez sit inside. And Fox Track says it caught the corner.
The seam.
That's all you need. And Jeff Bannister.
There's a dispute, I think, about the count. And Jeff Bannister wants to clarify with Alfonso Marquez what the count was. And it was a called strike, a foul ball, and then another called strike. So potentially a big double play. Rangers got a run on the second, but the inning started with a pair of doubles, and it could have been worse, but wasn't. And now 3 of the first 4 batters here in the 4th inning get singles. There's a double steal, and if Hughes can get Profar, get out of here with just one run allowed, that'll be a big lift.
And that's your goal as a pitcher. You're going to run into trouble throughout a ball game. It's try to minimize, stay away from that multi-run inning, and hopefully Phil Hughes can do that here.
Gomez getting the attention of Alfonso Marquez, I think, pointing to the scoreboard. Chopper to short. Polanco fields and throws. Inning over. 3 singles, a double steal, but just 1 run for the Rangers. It's 2-0. Play much short last year, but he's done a really nice job this year, and he's obviously done a good job at the plate.
Yeah, you know, the switch hitter, just 23 years old. He's just getting his feet wet, you know, and he's really, I think, becoming a very solid player for the Twins. Playing outstanding shortstop, hitting from both sides of the plate, and showing off that young arm that's only going to get stronger.
It'll be Polanco leading off the 5th inning for the Twins, then Vargas and Jimenez. We were talking about the last time the Twins played here. It was right before the All-Star break. They had that great series against the team that had the 95 wins last year, best record in the American League. And then a few weeks after that, they had that great series in Cleveland. Indians won 94 ball games. They had the 2nd best record in the American League, and the Twins won 3 out of 4 there. And in between those 2 road series, they split a 4-game series at Fenway Park. Dribbled up the line foul. Now, all that said, the team still had a miserable year, but they played their best against some of the better teams on the road in tough ballparks. 1-1 to Polanco.
Well, sometimes you take baby steps, sometimes you take giant steps. And in July last year, those were giant steps, but then they went back to taking baby steps. And Lucroy right there saying, oh, you know what? That was strike 3 on me. How can you say that was inside? Perez going inside.
Polanco drives one foul. 2-2. Twins with 3 singles. And now a drive to left center field. Gomez and Profar converge, and it's Profar with the catch one away.
Yeah, Polanco hit that ball solid, but just got underneath it a bit to create that pop-up and the fly out.
It's 1 down, and Vargas will bat. Vargas a couple of strikeouts and a walk so far after his call-up. Paul Molitor, when asked about Vargas today, and whether this is kind of a important juncture in Vargas's career and for the Twins to figure out what they have in him. Said, well, yeah, but we're just not going to hand him 450 at bats. He's got to earn them. Swing and a miss. 2-1. And of course, what he means is that, you know, Robbie Grossman's been a productive DH, and Vargas is not going to replace Joe Mauer at first base. 3-1. So yeah, Vargas can maybe get 450, 500 at bats, but he has to produce to earn those at bats.
And he needs to make better contact. Strikes out too often.
Another hitter's count, 3-1. And he takes ball 4. And that'll get Jimenez to the plate. First walk issued by Perez. You can build your target field schedule with a flex plan. Get 20 tickets to use any way you'd like. 10 games with a friend, 5 games with 4 friends. Sit by yourself for 20 games if you'd like. Plus, your tickets are discounted, and so is your food and beverage. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/flex. Jimenez get a fly ball to center his first time up. Up and away, ball 1. Jimenez came into the game hitting .222. Castro came into the game hitting .213. And that's kind of where I think those numbers will sit by season's end, just based on their career numbers. Remember, Castro got off to such a great start that first week, but he's never been a 300 hitter. And to the extent these guys deserve some credit for stabilizing what was a shaky pitching staff, they can hit .230 to .250. That might be good enough. 2-0 to Jimenez. We've gotten spoiled here. We've had some really great hitting catchers. Going back to Brian Harper on the '91 team. AAA hitting coach for the Tigers now.
Tim Laudner, got to
yes, make sure Tim was included there. But Joe Mauer winning batting titles.
Now Jimenez right there, 3-0 fastball. He's got to look fastball right here. Hopefully hit a gap somewhere. This is an important pitch right here for the Twins, I feel. Get back into the ball game, maybe right here. And
ball
it's ball 4. That's okay.
Back-to-back walks will get Rosario to the plate.
Doug Brocail, I believe.
Yep,
there he is. Pitching coach.
In his second year with the Rangers.
Boy, he had a good career in the big leagues. Brocail, he pitched a long, long time. Brocail basically trying to get Perez back in the strike zone. 15 pitches thrown so far, 10 balls and only 5 strikes this inning. He came into the inning with only 46 pitches in the first 4 innings.
Bet you $1 Rosario swings at the first pitch. This situation's meant perfect, and just perfect for him. This is what he kind of lives on. Pitcher struggling with his control. Wants to get a first pitch fastball over for a strike.
And sometimes what you see is pitchers that are struggling with their fastball, they'll start the hitter off with a breaking ball.
Okay, is a bet on $1?
No, I don't have $1. I had to pay my suspension.
Oh, that's right. You had the fine and the suspension over the weekend. Rosario singled his first time up.
Lucroy going to go out and talk to Perez about this.
Well, everybody was out on the mound a few minutes ago.
They probably didn't talk about this.
What, the candlesticks make a good wedding gift or what?
Let's see how they go about their business right here. I think it's just going to be a breaking ball and an off-speed pitch. Lucroy sitting away, and it's a breaking ball.
And Rosario took it. You'd have been a buck up.
Yep.
Goodness gracious.
Well, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Perez called the catcher out. That means the pitcher's starting to think. That's not a good thing.
That can never be a good thing, can it?
No. Hey, that worked that time. Let's try it again.
I'm not so sure Rosario's going to let the second one go by if he gets the same pitch in the same spot. High fastball and a swing and a miss. 0-2.
Yeah, it looked like Eddie was ready to swing no matter where that ball was, and it almost hit him in the Minnesota on his jersey. So breaking ball for strike one, then a hard fastball inside.
Ooh, he got a pitch he could have done something with, and he fouled it straight back.
He'd like to have back. Like a slider. Good swing by Rosario. And Perez may have gotten away with one right there.
Another 0-2 coming.
Well, Phil Hughes gave up that 0-2 RBI single to Gallo. If Perez can do the same.
Well, fastball got him down.
And a second strikeout for Perez. So he went back inside.
Pretty close to where the strike two pitch was.
Yep.
And now Buxton hit a fly ball to left.
Well, he went at him with a breaking ball, then the fastball inside, and another off-speed pitch that Rosario, I know, would like to have back, but then struck out on that high fastball.
And Buxton fouls it back and strike. Inside 1-1. Clutch hitting has been in short supply in the opening weeks of the season. Cubs are 2 games below 500. And they probably would have taken that if you'd have told them at the start of the year that on the 24th of April, Buxton would have no runs batted in and 1 run scored. That kicks away, and the runners don't move up. 2-1.
Lucroy did a good job of blocking that ball, and the ball didn't get too far away from him. And of course, Kenny Vargas at second base. If you don't go right off the get-go, you do exactly what Vargas did. You stay there, and he did. He thought about it, but then went back to second.
2-1 to Buxton. Inside 3-1. Dozier on deck. The Royals have been desperate for clutch hitting. They didn't get any in their 4-game series here or in their season opening series in Minnesota.
Yeah, Twins aren't the only team struggling in this situation.
Buxton worked the count full in his first at bat. Now it's 3-1. Chopped foul over by the Twins dugout. The runners will take off early, and in each case that could be a difference maker. Vargas at second, Jimenez at first.
Perez doing a good job of adding and subtracting. A 3-1 fastball that clocked at 86. Took a little off, and they'll hump up low 90s.
Just high, ball 4, and they're loaded up. Well, 3 walks in the inning, and Dozier will have a chance with the bases loaded.
Well, they went to a fastball in the mid-90s and just left it up.
Yeah.
Foxtrack says they hit the top half of that, or top of the strike zone.
Well, Oh, a dangerous hitter. Dozier with a single, shattering his bat in the process. Then he had a ground ball up the middle, but right where Odor was standing. Generally, when teams start the pendulum the other way when it comes to clutch hitting, it's the veteran hitters who get things turned around, and Dozier among the most veteran Twins hitters. They need a big hit here from their second baseman. Up and away, ball one. Some activity in the Texas bullpen already here.
If you're thinking grand slam, Brian's never hit a grand slam. So
Jose Leclerc warming up. On the outside corner.
Pitch number 75 coming for Perez.
Driven to left center field to the gap and down for a hit. There's the big hit from the veteran hitter. 3 runs will score, and the Twins take the lead.
Well, the walks come back and haunt Perez and the Texas Rangers. Brian Dozier with a big 3-run double to give the Twins a 1-run lead. Fastball down. Brian finds that gap out in left center, and guess who's at first? And now at second. And that long stride, Buxton. I think it took him 6 giant steps to get from first to home.
Here's Mauer, a single his last time up. Hit a ground ball that kind of handcuffed Odor. I had written down an error. The official scorer gave him a hit.
Yeah, Brian doubled his RBI output right there.
Mauer takes a fastball on the outside corner.
Dozier now has 6 runs batted in, 3 with that double. Big hit for the Twins and Brian Dozier.
Chopper to short, should end the inning. Andrus fires across. A big 2-out double for Brian Dozier. The Twins lead it 3-2.
A 3-2 lead, and you are hereby circled. If Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games, you bring your Circle Me signs, you might find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. Thank Torrey Hunter for circling while I was gone.
Did a great job circling. He really did. The ends met at the top. Sometimes, frankly, you've had a hard time doing that, but he did a nice job.
Yeah, he sure did.
1 strike to Carlos Gomez leading off the 5th. Now, Phil Hughes so far has done a nice job limiting the damage that could be done in an inning. The 2nd inning started with a pair of doubles, but only 1 run scored. 3 singles in the first 4 at bats of the 4th inning, but again, and there was a double steal in there. Again, just 1 run scored. And now he'll try to do something else that Kyle Gibson's had a terrible time doing, and that is protecting a lead. Gibson's been given 5 leads, and none of them have lasted past the 5th inning.
Yeah, Phil knows what he needs to do right here, and hopefully get Gomez off the bases. That's the first goal. Get that first out. Rangers have 5 hits. 3 of those hits have come on the first pitch. So again, Phil throwing strikes, and Rangers know that. They'll be swinging early.
Foul back 2-2. Gomez, Chu, and Mazzara in the Texas 5th. On the ground, through for a hit. Gomez aboard with his 2nd hit. A leadoff single in the 5th, and that'll bring up Chu.
Gomez looked like he went down and got that breaking ball and hit it through the infield for his 2nd base hit. 6th hit for the Rangers.
Chu, a walk his first time up. He was thrown out trying to steal, then he bounced to short.
Speedy Gomez at first base.
Snap throw to first, and Gomez just barely got back.
Yeah, he had a little trouble with his footing getting back to the bag. Quick throw by Jimenez behind the batter. Chu. See Gomez take that lead.
I've been doing this. This is my 34th year. I bet you I could count on 2 hands a number of times I've seen a Twins catcher in all that time throw to a base like that. And it's Hughes will throw over there. Well, the Rangers are sending Pudge Rodriguez into the Hall of Fame this year, who was one of the best at that.
Yeah, when you were done, I was going to say Pudge Rodriguez here.
It's a 90-foot throw.
Jim Sundberg did that a lot too when he was here forever.
That's what was so wonderfully surprising about the play in the playoffs in '87, getting Darrell Evans off 3rd base. Twins fans hadn't seen catchers throw to the bases very often.
And a baby Tim Laudner. Got to mention his name again. Lods is watching. I know he is. That was a great timing play between Gaetti and Lods.
Well, the pitcher has to throw the ball where it's supposed to be thrown. Umpire has to have his eyes open. A lot of things have to go right. No, Hughes doesn't want to have to struggle here in the 5th inning. He's got a man aboard. People are paying attention to Gomez as they should, but now the count's 2-1. Sharply hit right to the shortstop. 6-4-3 double play.
Taylor made right there. It's the 4th time that Polanco has had a ball hit to him. Excuse me, the 5th time. And that was a tailor-made double play.
First double play that Hughes has induced on the ground. And now for our State Farm combination, it's the combo up the middle, turning a double play.
Yeah, nice one-hopper to Polanco. Little shovel pass over to Dozier, and then Bryant's throw across the diamond over to Mauer for a nice 6-4-3 double play.
Base is empty for Mazara. Strike on the outside corner. There's no question Phil Hughes is not the pitcher he was in his first year with the Twins, which is not to mean that he can't be just as effective. Fouled back. Phil's approach in his first year with the Twins was simple and effective. Here's a 93, 94 mile per hour cutter. It might be belt high, but I don't think you can do anything with it. I'm not going to walk you. I'm not going to give up a lot of home runs, and that worked well, but he can't do that anymore.
Well, he's becoming a pitcher. I'm not saying that he wasn't that prior, but he's had to make the adjustment. And that's one thing again in spring training. He really worked on that changeup a lot, and then we've seen the slow curveball. I didn't see the slow curveball in his last start. More of the cutter. And I haven't seen that many cutters here tonight. It's more the straight changeup, the fastball, and then the slow curveball.
0-2. He's ahead of Mazara. And Hughes didn't see the fingers he wanted.
We saw all of them.
And Mazara asked
except
for time.
the thumb. And we're going to go with the 3, which is a little cutter.
That's foul back.
Yeah, what Phil tries to do with that cutter, and we've seen it in the past, he'll start it outside, and it'll cut maybe 3 or 4 inches to try to hit the corner. That had a little bit too much of the plate. Well, I'm telling you, I think as the summer goes on, as long as Phil stays healthy, I think the arm and the strength of the arm will come back as far as a velocity of the fastball.
This one popped up behind third. Sano trying to track it, and he makes a fine play in foul territory. And a good inning for Phil Hughes as he faces just 3. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm. Miguel Sano will lead off the 6th for the Twins. Up a run, and there's a pitch up and away. Ball 1. Sano, Grossman, and Polanco. Sano's hit into a double play and hit a fly ball to center. Squirted foul over the Ranger dugout.
Yeah, Martin Perez last inning, he was his worst own enemy by walking 3 guys, and then Brian Dozier capitalizing on his wildness, getting the 3-run double.
Down and in, 2-1. Just a footnote on Sano's suspension. As I said on Twitter, if they're going to uphold the 1-game suspension, I'd like them to also issue a code of conduct as to what a player is supposed to do when a player shoves his glove in your face. And anyone who thinks that Miguel Sano, Miguel Delaney, anybody wouldn't react similarly to Sano. Ball hit on the ground into the shift, backhanded by Odor.
And Odor had just shifted over there.
With the count going to 3-1. Here's what happened on Saturday, and pay particular note to catcher James McCann's glove.
Well, you can see where that ball is thrown behind. Boy, that was definitely a message sent to Sano. And Boyd's lucky that Sano didn't go out there. You saw McCann use that glove. And then Sano just pushed him and both benches cleared. No punches were thrown other than the shove.
No, the most overused cliche in sports is bench clearing brawl. At least in baseball, it wasn't a brawl. Guys in the bullpen got some running in. That's always nice to see.
I always wondered why bullpens just didn't meet out in center field. Why run all the way to the infield?
Grossman takes inside, 1-2. Sharply hit on one hop to Napoli. He's got it. He goes to the bag, 2 down.
Tell you what, Grossman waited back nicely on that too and took it the other way, but Napoli playing off the line right to him.
Take a look at our Pepsi fans of the game. Wearing some Twins gear here at Globe Life Ballpark. They're going to replace this ballpark in a few years. In 2012, they're going to have a new ballpark.
2020.
What did I say? 2012? 2012. Yep. So we'll be playing this year here, this series, and then in 18 and 19, and then they've got a new ballpark that's going to be built close by here. 1 strike to Polanco.
Yeah, this ballpark opened, I believe, in 1994. It's the first year here.
What I think they should do is, because, you know, kind of go retro, build a duplicate of the old ballpark here. Wouldn't that be nice? Chopped up the middle. And Andrus scoops and fires, but Polanco beats it out. Good play by Andrus.
Yeah, great play by Andrus right there. He went into short center field, spun, and made a throw. And because of Polanco's speed, he gets an infield base hit. But a great effort by the Rangers shortstop.
So Polanco aboard with his first hit. And that'll get Vargas to the plate with a man aboard. Well, that looks nothing like the old Arlington Stadium at all.
Yeah, it's supposed to. It will be beautiful, I heard.
It'll be an entertainment complex, ballpark to be sure, but many other things going on there.
And a retractable roof, too. That'll be nice during the summertime here.
In the dirt, ball 1.
Not only for the fans, but also for the players. I played a couple years here in Arlington at the old ballpark. And, 110 degrees with hardly any wind. Could be a scorcher. That's why you look at, you know, what Jim Sundberg did or Pudge Rodriguez, the years that they had here, the consistency.
And Gallo sets himself and fires a little bit offline. That was a great play, taking a double away from Vargas. And if the ball got by Gallo, Polanco very likely would have scored. And we won't say this very often in his career, I don't suppose, but Vargas has an infield hit.
Well, he, you know, got maybe robbed of an extra base hit because of Gallo and his range going to his right. And then his momentum, he kind of held on and then wheeled and threw a P across the diamond, but Vargas beats it out, throw a little bit up the line. What a good play by Gallo. So 2 nice infield plays, but both Twins get infield hits. Polanco and Vargas. Vargas gets his first hit of the year in a Twins uniform up here.
Jimenez backs out of the box. A chance for the former Ranger to deliver a big hit against his former team. When the Twins got their big hit in the 5th inning, it came with 2 out. Now 2 on and 2 out for Jimenez. Strike 1.
Breaking ball that made it over a plate.
And they're working over Jimenez inside, trying to anyway. They miss inside, 1-1. Jimenez drew the second of 3 walks in the 5th inning and then came in on Dozier's double. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Perez approaching 100 pitches here. Rangers have been getting good, steady starting pitching. He's trying to capitalize with a couple of 2-out singles. And Polanco got about halfway between 2nd and 3rd and then thought better of it. And now it's 2-2.
Lucre going to talk about this pitch right here with a couple of runners on. You want something to happen here. You don't want to go 3-2 with a speedster. Polanco at second base could score on a base hit easily. Twins need a doinker right here.
Three and 2, and now the runners will go. And Rosario has his eyes lighting up with what might happen here if Perez issues another walk. Just getting back is Polanco. Polanco aware of Odor's presence, and Gene Glynn barking at him as well.
You don't take the biggest as lead at second base until that ball's delivered toward home.
Runners go. Swung on and missed on a changeup. Twins put together a threat but leave 2. They still lead by 1.
Baseball I try to stay away from.
I don't pay attention to much of it.
I hate all of them.
I'm not a fan of any of them.
Framing runs saved might be one of my favorite ones.
Spin rate, because people go bananas over it.
Defensive ones are great with UZR and Razor and all these other things.
As a sinker baller, it's not going to do much for me.
I'm a guy that just goes out there and likes to compete, so that's my favorite one, compete.
I agree with Hector. What's Razor? Do you know what that is? What Kyle Gibson said?
I honestly don't know what it is. I've heard of it, but I don't know exactly what it stands for. You know, it's inescapable, though, that the analytics in baseball, if they have not taken over the game, they are going to in a very short time. Inside, Napoli leading off for the third time here in the ball game tonight. He's got 2 hits and 2 runs scored.
As long as humans still play the game.
Well, of course. But, you know, one thing that, you know, we've learned, I think, there's a strike. And forgive me, because I'm not trying to diminish your career, but wins for pitchers is such an arbitrary thing. You had 287 of them, and if anything, I think that total diminished the impact you had on the game as a starting pitcher. All the no decisions you had, 3-1. The times, you know, you had a lead and somebody else came in, gave up runs, and you did not get the win. A win for a pitcher is not the stat we used to think that it was.
No, I agree with you there, because, you know, there's so many things that come into play.
High fly to center field. It will come down. And almost in deep short, Buxton makes the catch, 1 away. Maybe one of the most worthless stats I've come to conclude, ERA for relief pitchers.
Right.
I mean, because it'd be one thing if you started and finished an inning, but how often do you see that now? Relief pitchers inherit runners, and they give up the base hits, and those runs are charged to the guy who left the ball game, when the guy who came into the ball game is maybe more instrumental in those run scoring than the guy who put them on base. 1 down in the 6th. Here's Rougned Odor.
Well, this is a big inning right here for Phil Hughes, because right now it's 75 pitches. If he can have a quick inning, he could maybe go out there one more, because the Twins, because you mentioned, Dick, the last couple starts where the starters have not gone very deep, that bullpen, you know, maybe just get 2 innings out of them rather than maybe needing 3. So Phil hoping to not only pitch this inning quickly and then maybe one more.
And now up high, 2-0. Odor with an RBI double his first time up. He had a fly ball to left his next time
And that's
up.
another part of the game, Dick, the pitch count. So you go at this and you look at this as a pitching coach or as a manager, and you say, okay, where's he at? Well, Tyler Duffy's starting to loosen up now, but you know, you look at your starter and, okay, can he get through this inning quickly? Ball right into the screen in front of their dugout. One of the best things baseball did right there. Put screens in front of the dugouts, because the playing field is so close now.
You don't expect a left-handed batter to rattle one against the screen, though. Maybe a right-handed batter who's late.
It's called getting the head out.
2-1. And now 3-1 to Odor with Andres on deck.
Now, Phil has 1 walk in the ball game. That came in the first inning. He has 2 strikeouts, both of them called third strikes in the first inning, and then a couple innings ago in the 4th.
Just his second 3-ball count in the ball game tonight. Foul back, 3-2.
Hughes making his 204th major league start here tonight. He has 86 wins, 77 losses.
Full count to Odor. Hit hard to the glove of Mauer. 2 away. Ball smashed, and it was on the glove side, which helped Joe make the play. 2 down. And Elvis Andrus will bat.
I think that's the first ball hit on the ground that Polanco didn't field. Everything else
right.
was hit to short. And then the fly ball outs.
Andrus. With 2 down. Big swing and a miss.
He was ready to swing at everything. That cutter was a foot outside. So definitely guessing fastball.
No 1-1. Check swing. Did he go? Nope. 2-1.
Razor is revised zone rating. Okay.
2-1.
Thank you for that.
Andrus. And spun foul. 2-2. Well, Hughes has handled things awfully well here tonight. When the Rangers have had threats, he's managed to make pitches to minimize or completely eliminate any damage. His 86th pitch, he hopes, is the last of the 6th inning. Chopper, Polanco fires on target. Good inning for Hughes. And again, he faces just 3 men.
Yeah, it really is. You know, 86 pitches, but remember, you talked about it, Dick, the innings under duress, too, that he did a great job of damage control. So Phil Hughes, 86 pitches, 54 strikes.
May 16th is Scrubs Night at Target Field. A limited number of Scrubs Night theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and a Twins Scrub Top. Go to twinsbaseball.com/scrubs to learn more about the Scrubs Night theme night offer.
And Phil Hughes finally had a 1-2-3 inning. It came in the 6th inning. So 6 hits allowed, both runs earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts for Hughes.
Jose Leclerc comes in. He's got a kind of a unique pitch that he throws. It's kind of a change cutter. And it says we've been told that he gets some really weird looking swings because of it. Rosario will be the first man he faces.
Yeah, scouting report says Leclerc has a good fastball in the upper 90s, hard curveball, and then that off-speed changeup you were talking about,
which apparently has a little side-to-side cut on it. Rosario ready for that fastball as always. 1 strike.
Yeah, 95 on our fastball. Leclerc out of the Dominican Republic. Came up a little bit last year for the Rangers. Made 12 appearances. Spent most of the year in AA and AAA. That might have been it right there. It's almost like a little screwball.
Just missed the corner, and it's 1-1. Skied to deep short. Andrus out, Profar in, and Profar with the catch, 1 away. We'll bring up Buxton. Buxton had a long at bat, ending in a fly ball to left, and then on a 3-2 pitch, he took a pitch up high, ended up drawing a walk, and scored just his 2nd run of the year. This is a guy who I think the Twins are imagining scoring 100 runs a year, and that he's just scored 2 so far. It gives you some idea how much he struggled to get on base. Squaring to bunt, he takes ball 1. Swing and a miss. That.
Yeah, that looked like a hard slider, almost like a cutter down and away.
That was definitely an awkward swing. We were promised we would see awkward swings. 1-1. And a pitch taken for strike 2.
Yeah, that might have been it. I'm just not, I don't want to stay on it, but that was at 82 miles an hour. So 95 fastball, and then the changeup at 82.
Fouled back. Buxton, who's been ahead of the count in his first 2 plate appearances, now is behind the count. Foul tip. And hung on to by Lucroy. 2 down. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier.
Something off speed again. Change up. See the bottom drop out of it.
2 down, and that'll bring up Dozier. 2 hits in the ball game. A single in the first and a big bases clearing double with 2 outs in the 5th. There's another awkward swing. That at a 97-mile-per-hour fastball, though. And as you mentioned, after the double, he doubled his RBI total from 3 to 6. 0-2.
Well, Leclerc, just 23 years old, out of the Dominican Republic, signed by the Rangers back in 2010. Wow.
As advertised. Leclerc looks pretty good. He picks up a couple of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning. The Grand Casino story of the game.
Rangers had a 2-0 lead. One of the runs coming in the bottom of the second inning. Odor with an RBI double. And then in the fourth inning, an RBI single by Gallo through the infield between first and second. But thanks to 3 walks by Perez, it's Brian Dozier that knocked in all 3 runs. Those runs coming in the 5th inning.
And Taylor Rogers will come out of the Twins bullpen with the Twins up a run.
Yeah, Taylor Rogers making his 8th relief appearance. He's worked a total of 5 innings. He's given up only 1 run, 3 walks, 2 of those intentional with 4 strikeouts.
And one of the reasons he's the guy brought in is because the first batter is a left-handed batter, Joey Gallo, then Jonathan Lucroy, and switch hitting Jurickson Profar. Profar is a switch hitter, but he has just 2 at-bats as a right-handed batter. So Rogers, perfect guy to bring in here, or at least that is the hope.
And Taylor Rogers with a fastball, 2 types of curveballs, occasional changeup.
Driven to left, running to the gap. Rosario hauls it in. 1 pitch, 1 out. Gallo hit it hard, but the Twins outfield shifting him to pull, and the left fielder was able to haul it in.
Yeah, Buxton was way over in right center, so it's Rosario that had to go a long way to get that ball for the first quick out.
1 down, and now Lucroy. Lucroy with a bouncer to short and a strikeout. Strikeout was a big one, as Hughes tried to do some damage control. He hit a batter to start the inning. Napoli gave up a couple of singles. There was a double steal. 1 run was in to make it 2-0. But that strikeout of Lucroy might have been the turning point of the game, unless this game gets turned around again.
If you remember, he struck him out a call 3rd strike on the inner part of the plate.
And then Profar bounced out, and the threat was over. On the ground, up the middle, and it'll bleed through. So Lucroy with a 5-hopper into the outfield grass. And Profar is being called back again. He is technically a switch hitter, but Jeff Bannister doesn't use him much against left-handed pitchers. So the Rangers will go to their bench with 1 out and 1 on.
Yeah, Profar just 0 for 2 as a left-handed hitter. Excuse me, a right-handed hitter.
Brian Rua, one of 3 bench players for the Rangers. They have a 13-man pitching staff, and Rua will bat for Profar. Rua with 25 at bats and 3 singles, 10 strikeouts. Rua's been with the Rangers for parts of 3 years. Got some power. One and 0 from Rogers to Rua. Driven to deep right. Heading back is Grossman at the wall. Makes the catch. We've seen so many balls from right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters here get into the jet stream and send it into the seats to right. That one came up just short.
Yeah, Rua got underneath it a little bit. Now, if that's hit over toward the Global Life sign, that's where that jet stream seems to be here at Global Life Park. And Rua just got underneath that. Grossman going back on the warning track and hauls it in. So 2 balls hit pretty deeply by the Rangers. Gallo hit that ball to the warning track in left center, and Rua hitting it to right field on the warning track.
So who's at first? The guy who hit a 7-hopper up the middle. Here's Gomez. Outside ball 1.
I thought who's on second?
Rogers trying to put down the Rangers in the 7th. Fouled back. Twins had to get an inning out of Brandon Kinsler yesterday. Part of an inning out of Ryan Presley because of the short start by Gibson. The Twins bullpen isn't as well rested as they would like because of the back-to-back short starts. And now foul back again. 1-2.
Couple fastballs right there that Gomez fouled off. We have seen the strikeouts that Rogers has been able to get, and it's that hard curveball down and into right-handers.
Tony Barnett warming up. Matt Bush, their closer, unavailable tonight because he's been used in the last 2 games. And a flip to first. One and 2 to Gomez. And Jimenez out to make sure.
Seen Gomez before. He'll chase that ball in the dirt. Another throw over.
With Lucroy's scratch single, right-handers are now 6 for 14. 6 for 15, I should say, against Rogers. Popped up. And out of play.
Yeah, he left that curveball up. That's a curveball you want to start middle of the plate and break it down and in. Yeah, Rogers got away with that hanger right there. The hard curveball he has, you have to believe that your catcher will block it. You want to drop that right on the other side of home plate. You want to go fastball up.
That's fouled back.
Well, a lot of fastballs. First 2 pitches, fastballs that fouled off. Well, that good curveball down and in.
See? And he got a piece of it.
You see it just out over the plate. You get that baby down and in, he'll swing through it.
Quite a battle here between Taylor and Gomez. Another 1-2.
Fastball away. And he got it in.
Popped up to right field. And Grossman makes the catch, and Rogers pitches a scoreless 7th inning. White Sox are piling it on the Royals, who managed to score a run, but they've given up 12. Ryan Rua is in left field with Joe Mauer standing in the box for the Twins. Strike one.
Jose Leclerc out there to start his second inning of relief.
Mauer with a single and 3 trips. And in the dirt, 1-1. Twins taking advantage of 3 walks in 1 inning, getting 3 runs on 1 hit, and the score is not quite as big as it was in the opening series against the Royals. But when the Twins have done well, they've gotten a lot of help from the other pitching staff with walks, like they did against the Royals. And Perez ended up walking just 3 guys, but they all came in 1 inning, and they all 3 came around to score. And now 2-1 to Mauer. High fly to center. Andres out, Gomez in. 1 down. Target Field has become the top choice for families throughout Twins territory, celebrating all kinds of special occasions. Schedule your special event in a fully catered Target Field suite available for groups of 16 to 150 plus. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 833 Twins to schedule your suite at Target Field. Here's Sano. 0 for 3, a couple of ground balls and a fly ball. Takes an off-speed pitch at the knees. Check swing and a ball. 1-1. Matt Belisle looks like he's going to get the 8th. Tapped foul. The big man is due to mash one here. He got some hits in the homestand toward the end, but not his loud doubles and home runs that we saw so often in the first 2 weeks. He's due to make solid contact. Two and 2. And now outside 3 and 2. Grossman on deck.
You look at Leclerc's numbers in the minor leagues. Total of 386 innings in the minor leagues. 205 strikeouts. Excuse me, walks, but 400 strikeouts.
Big pop-up foul over the Twins dugout. Middle of the lineup has been pretty quiet so far tonight for the Twins. And Sano swings through a fastball.
3rd strikeout for Jose Leclerc in the 5 batters he's faced.
And now Robbie Grossman.
Just reared back. Threw it past. So no, that might have been the changeup. Said 87 miles an hour, not the 97 we'd seen. So doing a good job of changing speeds.
Grossman. Down and in, a ball. Grossman 0 for 3 as a right-handed batter against Perez. Hitting .316 this year from this, his weaker side of the plate. Now, if you asked him, he'd say no, he can hit from both sides of the plate. But that's been his history. He's been much better from the right side than left side.
He came into the ball game hitting over 300 from both sides of the plate, so that's not bad. That's actually very good.
Former teammate of yours, good friend of both of ours, Randy Bush, said he didn't know he couldn't hit left-handers until he got to the big leagues. Then they started platooning him.
I think Jock Jones went through that routine too.
Yeah. 3-0 to Grossman. Polanco on deck. And Grossman takes a 4-pitch walk. First base runner the Twins have had against Leclerc. And here comes Jeff Bannister. And he's going to bring in a lefty to pitch to Polanco. Good outing for Leclerc. Maybe good for the Twins. Nearly 2 innings worth of work. That suggests he might not be available at least tomorrow, maybe not even on Wednesday.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Dario Alvarez comes in for the Rangers. He will pitch to Jorge Polanco, who will hit as a right-handed batter.
Alvarez scouting report, fastball and low 90s, slider and a changeup in his second season. Came over from the Atlanta Braves last year in late July.
One of the reasons Alvarez is brought in here, including the mounting pitch count for Leclerc. A little bit tougher for anybody to steal against a left-hander, although Grossman's not much of a base stealing threat. Checked his swing. Home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez said he did not. And Polanco looking back like, why did you make that call? A similar call that got Paul Molitor ejected on Thursday.
Yeah, breaking ball down and in. And Blanco right on that border of going maybe too far.
Now, managers don't like that, but what really gets them when home plate umpires make strike 3 calls to end an at bat. And that's one thing I'd like to see changed. I know we're trying to speed up the game and all that, but it takes 2 seconds to ask somebody who's got a much better angle.
Yeah, but that's 2 seconds that they could speed up the game.
But to get things right.
Oh, I know.
Was it
so you save 5 minutes.
Jason Castro was at the plate on Thursday, and he did not go. Polanco takes down and in, and now it's 3-1 with Vargas on deck. Polanco 1 for 3, an infield hit his last time up. Down the middle of strike. 3-2.
3-1 breaking ball.
And with 2 down, Grossman will take off. And right now, at least, Napoli's going to hold him on. Driven to the left field corner, but foul by about 3 feet.
Yeah, another breaking ball right there. Lucroy going to go out and talk to his left-hander. So Polanco fought it off, and you're hoping it would stay fair. It just took foul.
Twins looking for some insurance here in the 8th. Checked his swing, ball 4. And Vargas will have his chance with 2 men aboard. Twins made the walks hurt the Rangers in the 5th. Now another chance here in the 8th. Join Fox Sports North at the next viewing party coming up in a couple of nights. Wednesday beginning at 6:30 p.m. at Willie McCoy's in Bloomington. You can watch the Twins take on Texas, enjoy specials, prizes, and more. Visit foxsportsnorth.com/events for details. We don't know what's going to happen in this at bat, but this is where Vargas's presence changes things. He's quite capable of changing the score in a hurry here by a big number. And I think Paul Molitor's glad to have one extra power threat on the roster. Up, ball 1.
Well, so far Alvarez throwing a lot of breaking balls. A big slider.
Big swing on another breaking ball. 78 miles per hour.
Yep. Alvarez, 28 years old, from the Dominican Republic, came up with the Mets back in 2014. Also pitched for the Braves prior to coming here to Texas. Another breaking ball.
1 and 2. High fly to center. Gomez streaks in and makes the catch. 2 men left in the top of the 8th. It's still 3-2 Twins. Hoping to put together a good road trip here. A big hit from Brian Dozier, and now the 8th inning entrusted to Matt Belisle. Been around a long time, and his entire career was spent in the National League. Consequently, there's not a whole lot of history between Belisle or any of the Ranger hitters.
Yeah, Matt Belisle makes his home in Fort Worth, Texas now, but originally from Austin, Texas. He's got family and friends here. Talked to him before the ball game.
Chu will lead things off in the 8th. Up high, ball 1.
And this has always been Matt's kind of role as a setup guy, 7th, 8th inning type guy. Has only 5 major league saves, but has been in over 600 games in the big leagues, making his 9th appearance.
And now 2-0. Chu's had a couple of at bats against Belisle. Mazara's never faced him. Napoli's faced him a couple of times. Fouled back, and it's 2-1.
Even at 36 years old, Matt keeps himself in great shape. Control type pitcher, doesn't walk a lot of batters. Fastball, slider, changeup.
And a 3/4 swing, a foul tip. And with 2 strikes, Sano will swing over to the right side of the infield. And now a full count.
Chu stayed off of that high fastball.
Mazara on deck. Grounded right side. Dozier fields and flips one down. That'll bring up Mazara. Take a look at the Jeep road ahead. Upcoming schedule for the Twins. 2 more games here. A day off Thursday in Kansas City. And then we will play the Royals for 3 games. They are really scuffling to score runs right now. Then home for a week with Oakland and Boston. And back to Chicago again. Twins a very disappointing homestand, but they hope to have a good road trip here and give it another shot here in a week at home. Mazara, the batter, 0 for 3. Strike 1. Mazara with a strikeout, fly ball, and a foul out. Oh, 1-2.
Yeah, Jimenez wanted that fastball away, left inside. Head in the count. Wants to go way in. Get it in there. Go back in again. Get it back in. Repeat. I like that. Get it in there.
Popped up near the mound. Jimenez with the catch right in front of Belisle.
Well, Sano wanted no part of that. You don't see the catcher too often go out toward the mound and make the catch.
He went out on a dead sprint and stood in front of the mound.
Well, you know what? Credit Belisle and Jimenez. They wanted to go in the previous pitch hard in, and then he went back in again, and the ball was popped up. So watch the pop up right there. Sano comes in. Well, he may not have been able to get to it anyway. And it's Jimenez that has to go out and make the catch.
And now Napoli.
A dangerous hitter right here. Home run power.
Strike at the knees on the outside corner at 94. A little bit low, 1-1. Activity in the Twins' pen. We assume Kinsler will warm up when the Twins hit in the top of the ninth. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
A good hard breaking ball looked right there. See if they go with a fastball up right here. Fastball inside, get it up. Napoli likes to open up quickly.
Got him. What an inning for Belisle. Cutting through Chu, Mazzara, and Napoli for a 1-2-3 inning.
Dodger is a great person, and I look up to him.
Very thankful, blessed to have Doge.
Hit all those homers last year.
Hit 42 home runs last year.
You know, our MVP in a otherwise lackluster season.
That's something to also be very thankful and blessed of to even see.
Even though he hit 42 homers, but you have to do it this year too.
I don't know about 42 home runs, but that was an awfully big double he hit in the fifth inning, driving in 3 runs. Jimenez, Rosario, and Buxton will hit for the Twins here in the top of the ninth. Jimenez with a walk, a fly ball, and a strikeout. Tapper up the line, foul. And Alvarez walked his first man in the 8th, but got Vargas to fly out. Line to the third baseman Gallo. Jimenez hit it pretty hard, but Gallo guarding the line makes the catch 1 away. Rosario stands in 1 for 3 tonight. Up and in. Ball 1.
Well, that's what they're trying to pitch to Rosario, is that fastballs in and then breaking balls away. There's a breaking ball. Away.
Dug out and out of play. Clark struck him out with a couple of high tight fastballs. Now Kinsler's warmed up. A matter of how big the lead will be, 1 or more runs. One and two.
A high fastball right there. I don't think Rosario liked that.
Put some wood on it. A little chip shot to left. Andrus out, now giving away to Rua for out number 2. And it'll bring up Buxton with 2 gone on the night. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. Irvin Santana has been outstanding for the Twins against Andrew Cashner for the Rangers.
Yeah, Cashner making his 3rd start. Santana making his 5th start.
And Buxton at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored.
The Twins have never faced Cashner. Spent most of his career in the National League with the Padres. A little bit with the Cubs.
Ball 1 to Buxton. Ball 2. And now over for a strike. Inside on another breaking ball, and he swung over the top, 2 and 2. Lucroy held it. Could have been called, but wasn't. 3 and 2.
We've seen Alvarez throw a lot of breaking balls in this relief appearance. One right there.
Outside?
Just outside.
It's the 3rd full count for Buxton on the night. And he takes ball 4. Well, no hits tonight, but Buxton's walked a couple of times, and in this situation, even with a left-hander on the mound, you'd think he might steal. Well, Jeff Bannister is going to come to the mound. Kella is warmed up, and Bannister not paying any attention to the mound. He's glaring at Alfonso Marquez all the way to the foul line.
Yeah, Twins have drawn 6 walks tonight. That's always a good sign.
Twins with just 6 hits, but they lead it 3 to 2.
A one-run lead. Byron Buxton with 2 outs at first base drew the walk, and right now the Twins, most walks taken, right there leading the major leagues with 85. Dodgers 6 behind them. Keone Kala coming into the ball game, just getting called up, making his 4th relief appearance. Started in AAA. 4 innings so far, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He's in his 3rd season with the Rangers.
Dozier with a big 3-run double in the 5th. And now he takes a strike over the inside corner.
Yeah, Kala has a good fastball. And clocked as 101 at one time. Curveball and the changeup.
Down and away.
There's a breaking ball there.
And getting Alvarez out of the game, you bring a right-hander in. You think perhaps that would give Buxton a little bit better opportunity to steal a base here. He inches off of first. Dozier drives one to left field. Rua going back. Makes a great running catch on the warning track. Rua with a great catch to keep this a 3-2 game. Swing of the bat took the game from 2-0 Texas into 3-2 Minnesota. And that's the way it stands now for Brandon Kintzler as he comes into the ball game with a 1-run lead, trying to pick up the save.
Yeah, Brandon looking for his 5th save of the year. The Twins have 5 of them. Well, Kintzler so far 8 1/3 innings and not allowed a run on 4 hits. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. A contact type reliever, closer. When he's on, he'll get ground ball outs.
Odor, Andrus, and Gallo due up here in the 9th. That's Kepler in the game in right field for Robbie Grossman. Odor with an RBI double, a fly ball to left, and a ground ball to first.
Yeah, so in on the grass, almost on the grass. Take the bunt away just in case.
Been low, ball 1. And a strike. Up the line, foul, and it's 1-2. You know, Kinchler's MO, a lot of movement on his pitches, and when he's good, he gets a lot of ground ball outs. With 2 strikes now, Sano swings over to the right side of the infield.
Yeah, straight over the top. That's the way Kinchler goes about his business. Stays back well. Sinker, slider, changeup.
1-2. Fly ball center field. Buxton back. And with just enough room to make the catch. 405 feet from home plate.
Yeah, the deepest part of the field, right where Buxton caught it at 407. And a lot of times, Dick, that's that channel that we have seen into that bullpen area of the Rangers. So fastball away. And Odor gave it a ride. He's thinking maybe it had enough, but Buxton goes back. The Twins have made, what, 3 or 4 catches right on the warning track against the Rangers tonight.
Grossman made one in right. 1 down.
Yep.
And
Rosario out in left center.
Yep. Strike at the knees to Andrus. A couple of grounders just short in a single.
It's been a clean game too, hasn't it? Defensively for the Twins, seen some nice plays. Outfield has made some nice plays. Sano, Polanco has made a couple nice plays.
Really stepped into it. 2-1. Check swing foul, and it's 2-2. The big man, Gallo, on deck. Got him looking 2 down.
He painted a corner down and away.
A moving fastball that comes back an inch or 2 to the outside corner.
Well, take a look and see what Fox Track says right here. Okay.
Jimenez will talk with Kinchler. Gallo, all 6'5" of them, stands in. And now Jeff Bannister's been tossed for chirping from the dugout.
Well, Bannister was giving Marquez some beef in the 8th inning. He's going to get his money's worth.
Well, at some point, and now is the point, he'll retreat to the dugout. Kinchler's been playing catch with his shortstop to try to keep his arm loose.
Well, you don't see a lot of those anymore. I know Paul Molitor got thrown out yesterday, but you just don't see the managers get thrown out too often anymore in this game.
It almost always has to be about balls and strikes, which they can't argue at all. Here's Gallo, last hope for the Rangers. Way out in front, strike one. Buxton is almost starting where he caught Odor's drive a few moments ago. That's his starting position. That's about as deep as you'll see any outfielder play.
Well, what they're trying to do is keep him, if he does hit a gapper, keep him to a single.
Right. One and one. One and two.
And every pitch away. Of course, Gallo's thinking one thing, and that's hitting it into the upper deck. Use your head, Jimenez said. Give it 2 feet away. Don't make a mistake. Get it out there. See, those are the little things. Well, I've seen Jason Castro do the same thing as Jimenez right there. Come on, you know, use your head. This is a big pitch right here.
A little more animation from the catchers.
Yep. Just taking control.
2-2.
Jimenez waiting. Give it to me again. That little twist. Give me the two-seamer. Give me some sink on it.
And now 3-2. Lucroy on deck.
Now you got a young guy like Gallo that wants to be the hero. He may swing at a pitch out of the strike zone.
Full count to Joey Gallo.
Give it to me again.
Walked him. And now a matchup of former battery mates with the Milwaukee Brewers. Kinsler now pitching for the Twins, and Lucroy will now hit for the Rangers.
Well, of course, Gallo on all that power that he can generate. The big swing for strike one, and then he missed away. You're not going to see anything inside in this at bat. Everything away, away. There's ball three, and then the last one down. It almost landed on top of home plate.
Lucroy 1 for 3, a single his last time up. Strike on the outside corner. Backup catcher Robinson, Chirinos, and Delino to Shields available on the bench, but the Rangers are not pinch running for Gallo.
For a big man, Gallo does have a couple stolen bases this year. He is actually 3 this year.
Strike 2 on the outside corner. And Lucroy, who was called out on a similar pitch in the 4th inning, steps out of the box and shakes his head. Oh, and 2 to Jonathan Lucroy. Nice job by Jimenez, keeping Gallo at first.
Well, ahead in the count, you want to make sure you get that ball down. You trust your catcher that he'll block it and keep it in front of you. Exactly what Jimenez does right there. Deadening the ball, keeps Gallo at first base. Nice defensive play. Those little things sometimes don't get looked at enough.
1-2. Chopper up the middle off the glove of Kinsler. Fielded by Polanco, and the Twins win the opener. That ball might have skipped up the middle and through if Kinsler had not deflected it. As it is, the Twins hang on and win the opener 3-2.
Twins take advantage of the wildness of Perez in that 5th inning off the 3-run double by Dozier. Kinsler picks up his 5th save, and the Twins win a close one, 3-2. Take a look at first base. Joe Mauer stretching out. Yep.
And the Twins hang on, getting just enough offense, scoring 3 runs to beat the Rangers in the opener 3-2. Tom Hanneman, a very satisfying win. The Twins played well across the board.